With a rhythm like the waves and the beating of the heart, my yarn runs through my fingers day and night, and in between all the things that are called life. Just one more row, and one more, and one more. The soft and peaceful rhythm of the knitting provides opportunities to talk about life in general and knitting in particular. Through the work of our hands, our thoughts, feelings and dreams are manifested, and we make use of the valuable knowledge that has been passed down through generations. Knowing how to knit is like always carrying an invisible treasure. As we knit, we make the treasure visible. When sharing this treasure, it grows. Let's make the world softer and warmer together, one stitch at a time. A warm welcome to Sofia's Tales Podcast. My name is Sophia Karlsson, and I am a knitwear designer, photographer, art historian, author and pilgrim from Sweden. But I have recently moved to Norway. Scandinavian knitting traditions are close to my heart. I have been knitting since I was a child, and I haven't stopped since. You can find my patterns on Ravelry and in my book that is currently only available in Swedish, but I'm hoping for a translation soon. On Patreon, I share additional and exclusive content for my patrons. You can find all the links below. Welcome. Let's start a new episode of this podcast. Before we start this new episode, I just want to give a huge heartfelt thank you to all of you who are supporting my creative endeavors in different ways by sending me lovely messages, by giving me feedback on Patreon and here on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and Facebook. I'm so glad for that, and I am especially thankful to all of you who are supporting my work on patreon.com/Sofia's Tales financially, because this means that I can keep on making these podcasts, and I have so many lovely plans ahead. I love connecting with you on Patreon, and I have really developed that page now, and I have more ideas to come. I have started doing live streams, and I will develop that as well during the next year. So on patreon.com/Sofia's Tales, you can find tutorials, you can find recipes and blog posts, behind the scenes footage, special offers, and so much more. I have recently made a small tutorial on how to fold your own paper angels, for example. So thank you so much for this, but now it's time to start a new episode. A warm welcome to a new episode of Sofia's Tales Podcast. Today I will talk to you a bit about some of my new patterns that I are about to release soon. Also 2 patterns that have recently come out on Ravelry, like for example these mittens, the mittens that I call Tradition. I will also show you the Advent mystery hat, because now all the clues are released, so it's not a secret anymore, and you can still buy and knit the pattern, and all the clues are in one PDF now, so it's easier to follow. But it's a bit simpler. The layout is a bit more simple than my usual patterns. So I hope you will enjoy this episode. I will also talk about taking care of our clothes and darning. I've talked about that before, but I think it's so rewarding and important to learn how to mend and care for the things we put so much love and effort and time into. I have found a new but very old tool to darn things with, and I'm going to show you that in this episode a bit later. I will also talk a bit about why it's so important to choose wisely when we choose our words. And I will show you a book that I'm reading at the moment and that I enjoy very much. So welcome to a new episode full of knitting inspiration and some other topics. I want to show you my new knitting pattern that is now available on Ravelry as a single pattern, the Tradition Mittens. This was a pattern that I first released in my book, Steeking and Värmande kärlekshistoria, Knitting a Warming Love Story, that is currently only available in Swedish, but now I'm one by one releasing the patterns from the book as single patterns on Ravelry. I have already released the cardigan Longing and also the socks Longing with the roses. And now, next up is Tradition Mittens, a traditional Scandinavian mitten knitted in 3 colors. You can, of course, choose to do it in 2 colors or 4 colors that I'm going to show you that I've also experimented with, but it's designed with 3 colors like these mittens. These were the ones I took the pictures of for the book, and I think I've shown them in an earlier episode as well. I have now started to knit them in Christmas colors, or kind of just lovely colors, but they are very suitable for winter or Christmas mittens, I think. Grey, neutral white and a dark red. I think they are very lovely, and it brings me so much joy to play with colors when designing and also when knitting. So I'm usually knitting up my patterns in several different colorways because I think it makes so much fun to experiment with colors. And now I'm doing these are, I should say, kind of traditional colors as well as the pattern, but now I am also making a pair in, at least for me, more unexpected colors perhaps. I don't use turquoise much, but I just fell in love with this color combination. So now I'm working on this pair as well, and as you can see, they look very different, but I think they are all lovely, and I hope you will enjoy this pattern. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about why I call them tradition mittens.
It's so interesting with traditions. They anchor us in life and reality while linking us to those who came before us and those who come after. They help us to remember and yearn to beautiful and important parts of life. I want traditions to feel pleasurable and give us a happy, wonderful and excited anticipation, not to create compulsion and stress. If we like them, we want to pass them on. We can make the traditions our own and manage them as it suits us and those we love. It's important that traditions are allowed to live and change. We can also create new traditions. Through traditions, we give things weight in a beautiful way. We show that we exist and are important to each other. If we take things seriously, we can create occasions for celebration, where we manifest what we think is significant. Traditions can become the frame around the picture we live in. When we talk about traditions, we often think of holidays and contexts. but it can also be about crafts and patterns that have been passed down through generations to those of us who are alive now. The mitten tradition is a traditional Scandinavian mitten in color work. Knitted in 3 colors with a thumb gusset for a great fit and Latvian braids as decoration. The tradition mittens are now available on Ravelry, and all my patrons $2 and up receive 20% off until New Year. Maybe you want to knit a pair together with me. I will cast on a new pair between Christmas and New Year and host a live stream on Patreon on the 27th of December when we can cast on.
Okay, so how did I come up with this colorway, you might wonder, or I wonder myself, because it's so unexpected for me, and on the other hand quite expected because it just says wow when I see it, and I love color combinations that brings me a wow sensation. And actually it was because I was trying to combine colors for a vest I want to knit from another designer, Ella Gordon. And this is a vest I've been looking at for a while, and now I'm planning a trip to Scotland this spring with some knitting friends, and it brings me so much joy to plan this trip together. And this planning also includes what to wear and what to knit before we go there, and I would like to have this vest designed by Ella Gordon, and I'm going to put the name of the pattern in here because I've forgotten it right now. But trying out the colors for the vest, I made a swatch when I first tried out this color combination, and then it unfolded to this, and eventually this last one, the upper one here. So her pattern is actually designed for 3 colors, but I'm going to use 4. I'm going to use the red for the ribbing and the neckline, and these other ones, the yellow and the both turquoise, dark and light turquoise, for the vest. And when I was playing with this swatch, I felt like using these colors in my mitten tradition, so that's why I came up with this mitten. This time of the year it's so dark where I live, and I still haven't managed to invest in lamps to help me film indoors, and I also like the natural light most, but it's hard to do filming even on sunny days. And today we had sun, so I tried to set up the camera indoors, but it was too dark, and I went out to this lovely outdoor museum where I go sometimes to take pictures and do some filming. So you might wonder why I'm sitting here, but it was the only dry place and with hopefully enough light to do some filming. And now I want to tell you a bit about my Christmas knitting, because I have had much joy this autumn knitting lots of small things to give away to my dear ones. I told you a bit about this in the last episode when I showed the small baby bonnets that I knitted for my husband's new grandkids. And I also showed you a pair of socks that I knitted for my son. He had told me that the socks I knitted him for 3 years ago was a bit worn out. So I knitted a new pair that I showed you in the last episode. And now I have been visiting him because he's not being able to come home for Christmas. So I've been visiting him up in northern Sweden. And I gave him the new socks, and he was so so happy for them, and it brought so much joy to me to see his happiness for the new socks. And he was also very pleased that they looked just like the old ones. And the old ones I took home because I wanted to mend them. So this is the pair he has been using for 3 years, almost every day. And I have washed them like 6 times because they were in need of a proper wash. So now they are very clean, and I have darned them with my new but old darning loom. So there was a small hole under the sole on both socks, and so these are the old socks that I have now washed and mended, and I'm gonna bring them back to him eventually, so he will have an extra pair. So I'm gonna show you how to use this darning loom that I found in a little while. But I also want to show you some more Christmas gifts. I have been knitting just ordinary tutu rib hats. I made these in the 80s a lot, and I don't know where they are now. And I wanted to make new ones, so I made a blue one for Arvid, who had the socks, and I knitted him a blue one like this, and he loved it. So now I have knitted another blue one for his brother, who's coming home for Christmas, and I really don't think he's watching, so I feel quite safe by showing you this blue hat that I think will suit him. So the brothers will have the same kind of blue hats. I also knitted a grey one for my husband, and as you see, they are not really they need some trimming. But I made a light grey for my husband, and I'm knitting a dark grey for my daughter. So these have been really good projects to work on while talking to other people, because it's easy to just knit a tutu rib, and also while traveling, sitting on trains and buses and in waiting rooms and so on. So I look forward to finish these hats and also make nice packages, gifts, and to give them away. I have also knitted another pair of socks for Arvid when I was visiting him. As I said before, these socks are knitted in a DK weight, so they are slightly thicker than all the beautiful socks we're knitting, in fingering weight. So these are a bit thicker and really sturdy and good for everyday use. But he also needed a pair of even thicker socks. So I bought some yarn when I was visiting him. We went to a store where he knew they had yarn, and I even had to buy needles, even though I have so many, because I didn't bring the correct size. And I knitted that pair of socks for him in worsted weight during the days I was visiting. So he actually got 2 pair of new socks, and I got the old ones that I took home and washed and darned for him. And my daughter is going to receive another gift for Christmas that I made, not only the hat that I'm working on in darker grey, but also a cardigan that is my upcoming pattern. I've been talking about this for a while, and I was actually hoping to release it before Christmas, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I need to do some more editing on the pattern and take some more pictures, but I will give you a small sneak peek now. So this is the cardigan that I'm gifting her in green, and the yoke is embroidered, and I will also attach instructions for how to do the embroidery. But my thought is that maybe you want to embroider something else. Maybe you want to make these flowers that I have embroidered on the original pattern, but you can also choose to embroider something else. I have also made this cardigan for myself in this greenish yellowish color, and with blue flowers. And I have also knitted a third one in a blue tweed yarn that I bought at Swiss Yarn Festival last spring, and I haven't done the embroidery on that one, so maybe I will do something else than the flowers on that one. I'm thinking about robins, perhaps. We'll see what happens during Christmas break. Well, I wanted to give you this sneak peek, and I hope that I can release the pattern really, really soon. And now I want to show you my new but old darning loom.
How I love to receive pictures of garments knitted from my patterns. It's even lovelier if the garments are worn out. This means they have been loved and that they also have warmed someone. And it's even more lovely if they have been mended, because then they have been loved several times over, and this really touches my heart. The effort that is put into making and mending a pair of socks, for example. I have talked about darning before, several times, but this is something I love to reflect upon. It's a way to cherish and respect the work of the hand. Now I have found this old darning loom that I'm learning how to use. It's really easy to use it, and I'm amazed by the quality of this great tool manufactured in the 1930s or 40s. In episode 3, Handcrafted Gifts, Darning and Tuscany, I talk about darning and I show you how I mend a sweater and a pair of socks using the darning mushroom from my grandmother. I have also made a tutorial for my patrons on how I have mended a sweater.
Everything
I have a linen dress that I love and that costed a bit to buy, but it quickly became worn out, and there were holes on both sides of the chest. The fabric around the holes were completely worn thin. My dear friend Eva at Emil Rosa Design mended the dress for me, and she did it in the most refined and exquisite way. She lined the whole area with a new piece of linen fabric, and then she embroidered with tiny stitches over the holes. And she did it in the same blue as the fabric of the dress, because she knew I didn't want the mending to be so visible. And she also embroidered the rosary pattern that I have in some of my garments, and that she knows means so much to me. I have talked about this pattern in episode 10. I am so amazed by my friend Eva's skills and the love and effort she put into mending my dress. My heart is full, and now I can wear my dress again.
This is 2025 edition of Sofia's Tales winter hat. So I have had an annual Mystery Knit Along where we have knitted a colorwork hat 6 years in a row now. And this year's hat is the one you can see I'm wearing right now, because it's not a secret anymore. All the clues have been released and you can still buy and knit the pattern. It's called Sofia's Winter Hat 25. And you can knit it as a colorwork hat in 2 colors, like this one that I've knitted in a very soft 100% wool yarn that's called Pernilla from Filcolana. And I love it. I love this green color. It's really beautiful. But if you want to add some more joy to your knitting and some whimsical things, you can add beads to the trees, and also up here to have some frost twinkling on your head. So I have made a tutorial for how to add the beads, and I want to thank you all who have knitted this hat together with me. We have had so much fun with live streams and cookie baking and chatting and knitting and helping and inspire each other to knit our hats, and I'm so glad to see all your hats. I have recently released my pattern for the Longing cardigan on Ravelry as a single pattern, both in English and in Swedish. And I'm so glad that many of you want to knit this cardigan. And this cardigan is knitted in the round, and then you cut it open, which is called to steek your cardigan. And some of you have done this many times before, and for some of you it's the first time to steek. And I really want to encourage you to dare steeking, because it's so rewarding. And I also want to make you reflect upon what way is the best way for you to do it, because we are all different, just as it should be. I have knitted so many cardigans like this with the steek up front, and earlier I only secured by crocheting before cutting. I have heard and read so much about how there is no danger cutting in woolly sticky yarn like the ones I mostly use. But nowadays I always use my sewing machine to secure my stitches before cutting the steek. I make a zigzag up and down. This is because my cardigans started to break. I found holes between the cardigan and the button band, and the yarn just kept unraveling, and it was hard to fix as it was cut and all these small pieces of yarn came loose.
This has happened to me with Let Loopy yarn and Rauma Finull, for example. So these are sticky yarns that are supposed to be really good for steeking. Now, I don't want to scare anyone. I still steek and I want to encourage you to do it. But as I said, I use the sewing machine and it works great for me. So now there are no unfortunate accidents anymore. I think it's important to make your own choices before you choose how to do this, how to secure your stitches before cutting your garment open. Of course, we can learn from each other. My daughter knits a lot and she does not have to use the sewing machine. She can just crochet and cut. Her cardigans do not fall apart. So this is different to different people. I have heard of those who don't secure at all. They just cut and say that it works. And good, it works for them. But what I think is important is to remember that we are all different, and what works for one person might not work for someone else. My theory on why this is so different for me and my daughter is that she is a really tight knitter and she does not have the same bosom size as I do. So those are the only differences I can find. We use the same yarn and the same techniques, but we have different gauge and different bodies. So I want to encourage everyone to dare cutting their steeks, but decide on how you want to secure your stitches. And it's one thing to give and take advice, but another thing to tell someone this is how it is, because we don't know how it is for someone else. So all this has made me reflect upon the words always, never, everyone, and nobody. These are words to be careful with, but we often use them carelessly. So when we use the words always, never, everyone, and nobody, it's seldom true. Like if we say everyone should always use a zigzag before steeking, I would never say that. It works for me. Maybe it works for you to just cut without securing with the zigzag, because it obviously does for some people. But as I said, we are all different. So if we say everyone can just cut without zigzagging, it's not true, because I have had so many cardigans destroyed by doing this, and so I don't do it anymore. But that's for me. So you have to choose your way, and we can listen to each other and learn from each other's experiences, but we need to make our own choices. So this is also something that goes when talking about color work, because many people, including me, can give the advice to use a larger needle when knitting color work, because many of us knit tighter when knitting with many colors at the same time. But for me, I'm the unusual example on the opposite. I often knit looser when knitting color work in many colors, so I never use a larger needle. But for some, it's a good thing to do. So I can't give the advice that everyone should do this or that, and that it always or never works in one way for one or the other. We are all different. So it's good to know these things, because you can try out what works for you. So being careful using words as always, never, everyone, and nobody is also valid in so many other areas than knitting. There was a priest in a church I used to go to that often used these words in a way that annoyed me. Like, we all know what it feels like. She wanted to include everyone, but I often felt excluded, which I seldom do, but in this church I always felt excluded, as my experience were different. She also often said, "We can help them," meaning poor people and people in need. And I was often wondering if she was so sure that nobody in the church, as she said we, meaning everyone, was poor and in need of some help. And I knew it wasn't true. This only excluded people from the we perspective she was using. So what I want to say is, listen to other people's experiences and advice, but make your own assessments and your own choices and experiences. And we should be careful with the words always, never, everyone and nobody. Words are so important because they influence our thoughts, and our thoughts influence our actions. So that's why I think it's so important to choose our words wisely, or at least do our best choosing our words wisely. So it would be really interesting to know what your experiences and thoughts are upon this. So let's talk a bit more about my upcoming patterns and the patterns I have just released. Upcoming is my beret, the Bellini beret that I published in my book and that I am now very, very soon in December or January releasing as a single pattern on Ravelry. I'm also releasing in December or January my shawl, the Jungian shawl that many of you have asked for, and this is a blue version, and I have also made a yellow one, so they are coming really, really soon. But now I have released the pattern for the tradition mittens that I talked about earlier today, and I have decided to run a small kind of informal knit along. So I will cast on a new pair on the 27th of December, and I will do a live stream when casting on Patreon. So there will be more information about this on patreon.com/Sofia's Tales. And maybe you want to knit along with me a pair of tradition mittens. I have finished these now, so I have them in different colorways, and I just want to play with the colors and find out what the next pair is going to be. We'll see. Between Christmas and New Year's, I start this informal knit along that we can have together on my Patreon page and also on Instagram. And I look forward to see your tradition mittens and see what colors you will choose. I have also decided to release this pattern for my Coming Home cardigan, which is the name I've chosen for this cardigan, Coming Home. And I will tell you more about that in the next episode, why I choose this name. But the pattern will be released, the instructions will be released on the 25th of January, but you can already now pre-buy the pattern, which means you won't get the instructions for knitting the cardigan yet. You will get them on the 25th of January as an update. So why would you like to buy it now? Because you will get a discount, 20% off, if you buy it on this occasion before I release the instructions. And when you buy it, you will, just like in the mystery knits, you will get all the information you need to see that you have all the material at home. What you can start to knit a small swatch perhaps, and you can be ready on the 25th of January when I will start knit along, and I will start knitting my 4th cardigan coming home together with you. Because I really, really love this pattern, and I was hoping to release it before Christmas, but I won't really have the time now, so I will do it this way instead. So if you're interested to participate in this knit along at the end of January, it's going to start at the end of January, you can buy the pattern already now on Ravelry and see more pictures, and as I said, get the information on how much yarn you need and gauge and needles and everything. So I have put it up on Ravelry, and as I said, it's a pre-sale, so don't get disappointed if you don't get all the instructions for knitting the cardigan yet. It will come as an update at the end of January if you buy it now. So this was what I wanted to share upon my upcoming and recent releases of patterns. It's Christmas time, and I'm waiting for 2 of my kids to come home. One is coming tomorrow and the other one the day after, and then it's time to have a lovely Christmas time together. And we usually eat a lot of good food, play board games together, read loud or quiet, one in each corner of the room reading together. I love that. And just spending time together now when they are not living at home anymore. It's something I really look forward to. And of course I wish all our kids were here, but I know that everyone is happy where they are, and that's also good. So I'm so grateful for the 2 children that are coming home. And yes, books. It's really important to me and all my kids. We read a lot. And right now I want to recommend a book I'm reading, and I can strongly recommend this book even though I haven't finished it yet, because it's such an amazing experience and I'm completely absorbed by this book. I can even put my knitting down because I want to read and read and read. And I'm reading it in Norwegian because it's written by a Norwegian author, Lars Mending, and it's called The Bell in the Lake in English. It's a best-selling novel, and this is the first one in a trilogy, and I'm so happy for that because it means when I finish this now during Christmas, hopefully, there are 2 more books, and I can't have enough of this kind of story. It's so interesting. It's history, it's mystery, it's folklore, love, everything you could wish for, and it's just so absorbing. So I want to just read a few lines from the author's homepage to you. Spanning 1,500 pages, 80 years and 3 generations, the Sister Bells trilogy is an epic tale that combines Norwegian folklore and mythology with the drama of the modern novel. A story rich with hardship, faith, war, compassion and technical evolution, already considered a modern classic, and with more than 400,000 copies sold, it's the best-selling trilogy in Norway over the past 70 years. At the heart of the story are 2 women from the Hekne farm and Pastor Kai Schweigard, whom we meet as a young man and follow until his death. Most of the events take place in the remote fictional village of Butangen in Gudbrandsdalen. where centuries earlier 2 legendary church bells were forged in remembrance of a pair of conjoined twins from the Hekne family. Other important events in the trilogy take place in Dresden, Germany, and in the British border district of Northumberland, where 2 world wars and shifts in European history have a great impact on the small rural community. Behind everything lingers the question whether there are larger, inexplicable forces at play, in particular the fate of the mysterious twin sisters who died 300 years earlier and who were said to be able to predict the future. And I have read a critic who said about this book, there is a poetic and literary power to these books that exceeds the bounds of any genre. So I can strongly recommend The Bell in the Lake, a trilogy by Lars Mytting. And as I said, I'm looking forward to lots of time to read. And as you maybe can hear, my voice is not as it should be. So maybe I need some more time with a cup of tea and a book under a blanket to take care of this thing that happened to my voice. I just wanted to mention this book as well. I've seen that many people on social media are showing this, and I had it recommended this summer before it came out by a dear friend, and I immediately ordered it. So I have started reading this as well. It's called With Her Own Hands, Women Weaving Their Stories. And I just love it, and I feel like, I wish I had written this book. That's how it feels, and it's also very beautiful. So I'm looking forward to dive into the rest of this book as well. I wish you all a peaceful Christmas, just the way you want it. And maybe you want to knit the tradition mittens together with me between Christmas and Epiphany. Take care and continue to knit, and let's make this world softer and warmer together, stitch by stitch. And always remember, the light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not overcome it.
If you want more inspiration and content, behind the scenes footage and special offers, you are most welcome to support my creative work on patreon.com/Sofia's Tales. Here you'll find behind the scenes snippets from my travels and my home. I share recipes, tutorials, reflections and pictures. My patterns are available on Ravelry from a link below. You can also find me on Instagram as Sofia's Tales and on Facebook as Sofia's Tales, as well as in the Facebook group Sofia's Tales Knit Along, where we knit my patterns and help and inspire each other. Thank you so much for watching, and a warm welcome back to my channel.
Armored souls with fragile bones We built a